key to success for a fire in the snow and wet ground is a fire lay. That's the key. So what you want to do is just cut yourself some sticks and then place it where you're going to want your fire. They can be, these are a little bit punky, but they have a pretty good core. But they'll do the job just perfect. What this does is this keeps your fire off the snow. If you put your fire directly on the snow, what's going to happen is it's going to start melting and it's going to create water under there and it's going to put your fire out. What this allows is, even though these are a little damp, your fire is going to be on top of the snow. It's going to melt underneath, but that's underneath these logs. And by the time these logs burn through, it's according on the size of your logs on how deep of snow you're actually setting your fire on. I've actually set my fire on 2 feet of snow before and had logs, 3-4 inches from my fire base, and it would just slowly keep melting down right down to the ground. And I never had a problem with my fire going out. So this here, these are about 1.5 inches around. These would be fine for here, but that's where you start your fire. On top of this, it's going to slowly dry these out and dry the ground out underneath of it, and it will these will eventually burn away, but by that time the ground will be dry and you have no problem with your fire. That's the key to success in wet ground or in snow. As you can see, everything is soaked out here. It's covered in snow. So even the little twigs and such are very damp and just soaked right through. So this is where a saw and a knife comes in very handy. I'm going to have to process this down, cut it up, and process it down to get my kindling and fuel for this fire. So I'm not going to make a big fire, so I'm only cutting these about 10 inches. But I can see that it's nice and dry inside. So this is going to be a great piece. I'm just going to throw it right on top of my fire lay to keep it out of the snow. That's the good thing about, when you come out here, you can find dry wood. You just got to cut down a dead tree and get into the inside. That's where batoning is very handy. I don't have an axe. I don't carry an axe. I carry a knife. And I'll baton this into small pieces. And this is going to split easy. And it's small. So I don't have any risk of breaking the knife I have. got here on the end is fir resin. And I'm going to start that up with the ferro rod. And then I'm going to start putting these little tiny sticks over top. I keep this up here so it keeps everything above my fire so it does not smother it. So we're going to start this up real quick. Well, I'll put it out here to start it. Well, had her going. It will grow. Now I'm just going to set these smaller ones over top of this to get it going. Now, there's still dampness in the wood and such on the bark of this wood, so that's going to be a little concern as well. But once it gets going, it should be okay. So I want to just put these smaller ones on. So they'll catch on fire. Put it down a little bit, get those down there. Burning off some of the excess water on them right now. But they'll dry out pretty quick. I hear some popping, that's a good sign. I'm just going to let that go now. As you see now, the wood down here is burning well. And even though this is damp, you can put 1 or 2 on there. It will slowly dry out. And that fire will keep going now. So that is the key to getting a fire going out on the snow. And as well, just damp ground is a fire lay. Now it was very, very wet out here. It's hard to find good firewood. But once you open up some wood like I have, you've got yourself some nice dry firewood. And this here will get you good coal base. And then you can start burning, you know, moderate damp wood kind of deal if you had to after you get a really good coal base. But search out these dead trees and open them up to get some good firewood.